Hi, welcome everybody. It's very hot, but this is the Poster Drop episode number 8. And today I have Justin Froning, aka Housebear, with me. Let's welcome the good man. How are you, buddy?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm sweating. You're sweating as well, I heard, so it's all good. But you got air conditioning at least?
I do. It's sweater weather, right? Is that? But not like you wearing a sweater. It's everyone is a sweater.
Yeah. That's true. I was like, sweater weather? I don't know. Maybe inside your house, but not in here.
Everyone that you see, they're all doing it.
Yeah, we don't have an AC here in Germany. Most people don't. So it's a sweating for over 100, aka 37 Fahrenheit.
Yeah,
it's super hot.
It's not all right.
It is not.
I was in Germany for a while. Well, I lived in Austria for a little bit, and then I was in Germany for a little bit. And I had experienced that was my first experience of, wait, you guys don't have air conditioning.
Yeah.
This is very.
When did you live? When did you live in Austria?
In 2005, there was a point in time where I spoke Österreichisch Deutsch, but now it's not so great.
It sounded good though.
Thanks. There's not too many Arkansans that speak German, so I'm a little bit out of practice.
How did that happen? Let's talk. I mean, we start off a little different here today, but yeah, let's talk about it. Justin, where does this come from?
So I was in college. It was my senior year.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking for electives. I was trying to find the easiest stuff I could because I'd already busted it the first 3 years and a half. And I was like, well, what's some easy stuff? And I signed up for this class called Professional Foundations of Leisure. I'm like, well, if anything was supposed to be easy, it's in the title. And it was insane. It was like people that were becoming like park rangers, and it was all writing and stuff. I was like, no, that's not what I had in mind. So I went back to my dorm and I was like, hey, German. Like, I had already done my foreign language requirement in Spanish, but I was like, well, my heritage is German and Austrian, and ended up just really falling in love with it. And I love the class. I was like 3 chapters into my book before the class started. Anyway, and it was I loved it. I wanted to find a way to go over there, and I ended up finding a Bible school in Austria that was like not a full 3-year thing. It was like a intensive semester, but it's in the Tauern Dachstein region of Austria, and so we're like right in this little village called Schladming, and
How was that?
Amazing.
Amazing.
I've loved it. Yeah, it was weird because it's my first time away from it was my first time out of the country, and my first time where I didn't know anyone around me.
Yeah.
Which was really good. It was really formative. But yeah, I landed in Munich and took the train south, and I ended up meeting another one of the kids that was in the school, and he was asking me for directions, and I was talking to him, and he thought I was a German, which was fun, and my language wasn't great at that point, but it was awesome. I love the mountains. I could go out and go for a hike and climb up, like I climbed Holstein was one of the I wanted to climb 3 Alps, 3 mountains in the Alps was my goal. I'm climbing peaking 7 of them while I was there, and it was awesome. Yeah, it was super cool. And by the time I left, I ended up doing like a 3-day weekend in Munich, and someone asked me for directions, and I gave them directions in German, and they said, "Oh, ja, Schweizer," like, "Nein, ich bin Amerikaner," and like, "Wirklich," and I was like, "Okay, that's the best I'm gonna get."
Awesome, man. That's really great. That's really great. Yeah, it's like this. I went in 2003, 2004. I went to the States the first time as an exchange student, so that was kind of interesting as well. And yeah, being in the same kind of situation, but in high school. So that's also really interesting.
Yeah, it was. I can't imagine being in high school. I was like one of the older guys there because I guess everyone else was doing this right before college, and I was like, okay, I'm mixed up, but I liked it.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's really great. Yeah, let's see how many German words you still remember. I'm gonna give you, because the speed round is coming, and I'm gonna start off with a German question. So are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm as ready as I can be.
Okay. So first off, what is your Favorite German word?
Oh, ausgezeichnet.
Ausgezeichnet. Very good.
That's a good word.
That's
Amazing.
is I don't know what does Mr. Burns say in The Simpsons? Excellent, excellent,
Oh, excellent.
excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he says it, and he says in German, ausgezeichnet.
That's awesome.
So a little fun fact there. So
That's perfect.
yeah. Next up, favorite Transformer.
Soundwave.
Oh, okay, that was too easy.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably obvious, but
Yeah. Portray or landscape?
Portrait. Oh, well, I always lend towards landscape, but then I have to modify it because I'm like, no one wants landscape. So it by coercion, it's portrait.
Okay, perfect. Samurai or ninja?
Ninja.
Okay.
I like the honor of the samurai, but I like the
Sneakiness.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. What is your favorite sneaker? Because I mean, you design or shoe. Let's put it shoe, like because you have a shoe series going on. Let's.
I do. I love the original Jordan 1. I think it's an awesome shoe. It's probably in my opinion, the best kind of street type shoe.
Okay.
But then for like every day, I like Vans.
Okay. Fair enough. You got some J1s?
I do.
Okay. What colorway? Chicago. Breads.
No, I want the Chicago. That's
Is it coming
one
out
of
this
these
year
days.
again?
I think so. They're doing like a variation of it at least. And they're doing like a low. I want like the mid or the high.
Yeah. I got the OG highs. Those like the retro version. They're really nice.
Yeah, I would love that. I really like the origin story ones.
Mm-hmm.
With that was a cool one. I'd love to get that. Mine, I have a couple different ones. I've got it's like white and like a dark purple, but it's like a purpley blue. It's a really
like
it's
a
a
Thanos
neat colorway. Yeah, pretty much. You could call it the Thanos colorway. And I have one that's like black and like Volt, like they're neon green, which is kind of fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, I got a pair of like khaki kind of like it's like a dark green, army green. I got the Chicago colorway.
That's a good one.
I got a wolf grays, like gray and black.
Cool.
And what else do I think I got one more Jordan ones, but I can't recall which ones. There's some more, but yeah, and I just got the latest I got was the Jordan 7s in the sapphire colorway. It's kind of like basically like the colors, the painting behind you.
This is my lovely wife's painting.
I was about to ask it later, but yeah, there we go. Yeah, this kind of colorway, so it's like really nice. Yeah, okay. Let's continue with some more questions. What would your job be if you wouldn't be an artist?
Shoot, that's a good question.
Park ranger, I guess, huh?
Park ranger. Yeah, walk around the woods.
Really? Or are you joking?
No, I mean, I would love that. I mean, I love people. I like working with people.
Teacher.
I thought about teacher, counselor, something like that, probably.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's why I turned teacher, because I love working with kids.
My parents were both teachers. Well, my dad was an architect before he became a teacher, but
okay, fair enough. Next up, what song is on heavy rotation right now?
Oh, well, it depends on the situation. If my kids are with me, Frozen, Let It Go a lot.
Still,
man.
Hey,
but
yeah,
I'll give her this. My daughter either wants to hear Let It Go by Frozen or like the Silver String from Seosin or something from Under Oath, or she loves At a City's Burn. My kids both by name will request American Football, The Get Up Kids, Phoenix. I'm like, okay. So I've done my job well, but she still does. The theme song to She-Ra
Okay.
on Netflix
Yeah,
on heavy rotation,
that's nice.
and it's like 30 seconds long, so it's very heavy rotation.
Yeah, a little fun fact to that, because like so we were talking earlier about RRR before we started the recording, but
Mhm.
a friend of mine who watched the movie and really enjoyed it, by the way, and like his kid, like I think he's 5 or 6 or something like that, stepped in and watched there's a very cool dance scene that really fits into the movie. It's not like it's not taken out of context. It's perfect
Mm.
for that. And the song, like if you watch the Hindi version, it's called Nacho Nacho. The original version is Natu Natu. But like so every time now the kid, like I think it's most of the times once a day the kid wants to hear the Nacho Nacho song, so he has to play it at least once a day. It's very catchy, I'll tell you that.
That's awesome. Maybe I can swing my daughter into that one.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Um, Next one is also kind of song related. What's your favorite karaoke song, or what would you sing?
I can tell you the last one I sang,
Okay,
um,
but do you have a
and it
go-to
was.
then? Otherwise,
I don't know if I have a go-to. It has it. You have to read the room. I mean, for sure. But I the last one I sang was Ray Parker Jr.'s Ghostbusters theme song,
all right, fair enough.
uh,
Yeah.
because it was going to be funny, and I didn't think anyone was going to expect it. And I was able to get. By the time I was done, I had the whole bar, doing Ghostbusters, on the. It was exciting. It felt good.
Yeah, that's definitely reading the room when it comes to that, because you have to know your audience.
Yeah, I was like, I could do like maybe I could do a Jimmy Eat World song or a Weezer song. I'm like, none of these people know this. I'll do this
Hmm.
song.
I mean, you could have done Teenage Dirtbag. Come on, people know that, right?
That's possible.
I mean, I know that, so I'm not a big fan of that kind of music. So, but okay. Last but not least, what's your favorite food?
Thai food. If I could eat Thai food or sushi, so I guess Thai food or Japanese food, I could eat. I for the rest of my life.
You had a kebab before? Doing a kebab?
Yeah, yeah,
That's not
very
your
good.
favorite then?
It's very good. It's very good. It's been almost 20 years since I've had one, so
Hmm. But
that
yeah,
kind of changed too.
yeah, exactly. Come to Berlin. I'll get you to the place to where to eat.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Alrighty. So yeah, let's talk about some posters first off, and yeah, let's talk about some history in that kind of way, because you do a lot of different things when it comes to posters. You do from pop art over music to certain elements like shoes and cars and things like that. So it's really interesting what kind of way you have. And I picked something that I don't have a clue about, which is the Rocket Boys summer. Is it the summer tour? I guess so, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I picked that, and this is a very cool poster, and I have no clue who the Rocket Boys are. So, yeah, let's hear something about it. What's the deal behind this poster, and why are you so into music gigs?
So, in a past life, I was a professional musician,
Okay.
which I didn't start that way. I started as a kid playing guitar in my garage, but
Hmm.
um, eventually became a touring musician and in a band called Deus Vale as the bass player.
Hmm.
And one of the bands that we toured with frequently was a group of guys called the Rocket Boys. And they were from down in Texas. They, I think, relocated to Austin. Super talented. I mean, one of my favorite bands that we would play with.
What's the sound?
Uh, Oh man, they've kind of got a little bit of like a folk bit added to it, but it was just really like harmonious, like indie rock,
Okay.
like really pretty, like delayed guitars and
Hmm.
stuff.
Hmm.
You could, I mean, kind of Coldplay-esque if it was
Okay.
like more indie. But yeah, super good. And yeah, this is just one I saw they had a tour coming up, and I hit them up and said, hey, would you want me to make a poster for your tour? And they're like, yeah. And that was pretty much how that went. And I threw this at them, and it was kind of I think their album artwork was like a disco ball, but
Hmm.
like in like a garden or something. It was like a pretty juxtaposed thing, and so I wanted to do the same kind of thing. I did like a, you know, blooming flower in the middle of the desert,
Hmm.
and hit it with a bunch of geometric shapes and stuff that I thought would kind of fit the music and fit the tone. Yeah, and they dug it, so that's where it landed.
Yeah, it's a very cool poster. As a turn, was it available via the tour or?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So yeah, do you still have some in your shop so we can plug that?
I do. Yeah, I still have a few of those left. It's fun because that was this was really early on in my kind of figuring out what my style
Hmm.
was. I still love the kind of photographic and applying textures and stuff to that. But I mean, as you're probably aware, I've kind of moved more towards
Hmm.
um, illustrative bent, which was thanks to inspiration from posters I was collecting.
Awesome. Yeah, so let's talk about some more of the latest stuff here, which is the Transformers piece for more art, which turned out so good. And you did another one after that, but the style was kind of similar, just
Hmm.
different Transformers and colors and all of that. But what was your idea behind this one, and how did you change it up with the others?
So yeah, with the when James hit me up about working on Transformers, first of all, my mind was blown because I mean that is one of my favorite things from my childhood.
Hmm.
I love Transformers, the original series. I've gotten my son to watch it with me, and he loves it too. So that's been
Awesome.
fun getting to rewatch it. So, um, you know, when he hit me up about doing a Transformers piece, and he said, "What would you want to do?" And I said, "Well, I want to make Soundwave."
Hmm.
Um, and my style, I call what I do like detailed minimalism
Hmm.
is kind of how I hit it. Um, I like things to really focus on the subject. I'm not one that's typically like a lot of stuff going on in the background or a lot of different elements. I just really want the thing that's supposed to be the focus to be the focus, and it to be really detailed where you're looking at that. And so with Soundwave, I just wanted a really cool angle. Where you felt like you were feeling something. Like that's usually what I want is some sort of iconography. In this case, it's a character, but where something's happening. It's not You're not just catching him sitting on the couch. He's in the middle of a moment, and in this moment, he's about to come after you, and he's sending Laserbeak. Um,
Hmm.
that's a pretty, you know, if you're really there, that's a kind of a terrifying thing to be happening.
Yeah, for sure. And question also in terms of that this particular piece, how many of the series are there going to be? Is that already known?
Uh, I don't know exactly. We did this one, and then we did Grimlock.
Yeah.
And I'm currently getting. I've got sketches over to James and Kier for the third one, which I think we might get a little peek at. I don't know if James is all right with that or not, but that's one of the works in progress.
Hmm.
And then as long as that goes well, there's a couple more that we'll end up doing.
Awesome. That sounds really good. And do you also collect those Transformer action toys like Matt Ferguson does, like crazy collector stuff?
Oh yeah, I mean, my collection isn't as extensive as some, but I mean, I've got Soundwave sitting over on my shelf,
Hmm.
and Grimlock, and a few others. The I had a lot of them when I was a kid,
Hmm.
and I think I got rid of them in a garage sale when I was still a kid when we were moving houses, and I wish that I still had them. I held on to a few, but not all of them. I've still got my original Optimus Prime. I still have my original Grimlock. But yeah, I couldn't find my original Soundwave, and I went and bought him because Walmart did that re-release, and I was like, all right, well, here he is. So
Yeah, sometimes it's like that, huh? Um, as I mentioned before, you also do like cars, for example, and I think yeah, the Ferris Bueller Ferrari is one of my favorites. And what's the idea behind this one? And are there going to be more?
so this one was Hero Complex, I'd reached out and said, I'd love to work with you guys, and they said, well, here's a couple shows we have coming up that we think you'd be a good fit for, and the first one was the John Hughes show.
Mhm.
I think it's called Hughes Your Daddy, which is I
Yeah.
thought a good plan. And so I made this piece, and like I said, a lot of times rather than characters or things like that, I really like iconography that speaks to a film, or
Mhm.
you recognize something that was like monumental or played into the plot. Um, and so all your feelings about the film, I feel like when you're looking at when you're looking at a person, you're thinking about that character or what you think about that person. And when you look at a an icon, like you're part of the film, I guess is how I feel about it.
Mhm.
Like if I walk up to Cameron's dad's car, I'm like, am I Ferris? Am I Cameron? It kind of gives me that feeling like I'm a part of it. Like you're just like suddenly you're warped into the world versus looking in on the world.
Mhm.
And so for that, Cameron's dad's car was the piece that always stands out to my mind when I think about Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which is an awesome film.
It is, man.
Um, and so and to give a little like Easter eggs and stuff, I was like, well, hey, instead of the stallion on the grill and on the hood, I'm gonna replace that with Ferris on the parade float
Mm.
doing his song and dance, which I thought was really fun.
Yeah.
And I sent it over to the guys at Hero Complex, and they really liked it.
What's
And
not
then
to
they came
like?
back, I
And
think,
what's not to like here?
which is I tend towards anxiety, and so approval process stuff is always my least favorite part. It's probably
Mm.
most people's least part, but I'm like, oh, I don't know if they're gonna love this or they're gonna hate it, or and so when they came back and loved it, that was awesome. And then
Great.
they came back the next day and said, hey, we really love it, and what would you think about doing like a full series of cars? And I was like,
Mm.
yeah, be fantastic. And so kind of put our heads together and thought about some of our favorite cars from movies, and made a quick list of like 20 of them.
Mm.
And I think we ended up doing 9 of them for the driven series I did for them.
Can you get them together?
Um,
Or like the,
they
the ones you had?
they are on my
You
site.
said, oh, let me go then. The spare.com, because we can do this live easily. Okay, just gonna pop this in here so people can see your beautiful new Thor Love and Thunder, and there's a no piece, the latest. Where's in the shop, or where do I find it?
Yeah, if you scroll down, you'll see them. A lot of them I don't have in my shop because they're over at
Okay.
they're there. Yeah. So yeah, we
Bond,
did.
Blade Runner, yeah, Jurassic Park, Mad Max, Mr. Plow, Wayne's World, Party Time, Vacation.
Yeah, so that's the set. Yeah, I had a blast with those. That was super fun.
Yeah, where's Knight Rider though? Or wasn't that a movie?
Uh,
Maybe it's just a movie?
that was definitely one that was on the list.
Got the
There's
Jordans.
your shoe.
Got the Jordans there, exactly. But yeah, so that's great, and yeah, so some more cars maybe in the future.
Yeah, yeah. The idea is they'll be open ended. Whenever I get a pause in the action, think of one and shoot it their way. So yeah, I think we'll keep those going.
Yeah, perfect. Alrighty. Then let's come to get to know you a little bit more. I mean, we talked about a little bit of your university career, but how did you start out? Like, did you study in terms of like graphic design, or what did you study, and how did you get where you are right now?
Yeah, so my degree in college was psychology.
Mm-hmm.
So I did my last art class was 7th grade art.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess you could say I'm relatively self-taught. Um, I was doing, I guess I got my start. I was doing, I drew a lot when I was a kid, but then when I started doing kind of graphic design, I worked I did the yearbook when I was in high school. So I got used to InDesign and stuff like that, which at the time it was like one of the first iterations of InDesign. And when we had like Photoshop 7. Like one of the. It was sad. The technology
Yeah,
wasn't awesome.
I'm putting in something, by the way, while you talk about high school here. Just gonna leave that there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So there's me playing in my screamo band in high school, which ended up becoming something we did through college, and that was where I was making posters, and I mean like going to Kinko's and cutting out like the Sunday comics and like erasing, whiting out what it said and writing the concert, the band names and stuff like that. Me and my buddy Matt were doing that kind of stuff, and making posters like the old punk rock way for a long time, putting out little flyers and stuff for shows. And that's what I did for years. And then I finally was like, what if I actually made one? Like, what if I made a poster from scratch? I wasn't just using like found materials. And I started doing that. I started using Photoshop when I was like, I guess I was 18. And that's a long time ago now. But yeah, I started making I was making our merchandise for our band. I was making flyers.
That's the band, right?
So that's the band I joined. That's Deus Vale. That was the one that was like we had a career of that, and I did that for 6 or 7 years, and that was my full-time job. And that's a lot of where I learned what I was actually doing, because I was just in a van for 8 hours a day.
Crazy.
And so I could sit there and eat snacks, or I could sit on my laptop and make stuff. And so I was just practicing Photoshop, practicing making things all the time. And while we were on tour, I came across that poster book from Jason Munn when we were in Colorado Springs, this little used bookstore.
Yeah.
And that was like that was a really big inspiration. He was working with my favorite bands. He was making really cool stuff that was minimal, which really spoke to me, because a lot of stuff was like loud and crazy. And so between him, Jason Munn and Invisible Creature, those were like, Invisible Creature is a two dudes that make just amazing stuff up in Seattle, and work with a lot of bands. And I think a lot of my both of those just really resonated with me. And what they weren't like ostentatious, it was just like minimal presentation. And I think I still apply a lot of that just with an illustrative style.
And
but yeah,
quick question: Where did you go? Where did you grow up, and where did you go to college?
So I grew up in Fayetteville, Arkansas, which is a college town, and I went to the University of Arkansas.
Okay. Because this happened.
Yeah, so I never wanted to leave Fayetteville. I was like, this is where I'm going to stay forever. And then lived in Austria for a little bit, and then I was like, now I want to do something different. I want to explore the world.
Yeah, sorry that I interrupt you again. What happened to the band? Was it before, after, or?
So the band was after. I came back to the States, worked at the Boys and Girls Club for a while, and was going to go back to school and get my teaching degree.
Okay.
I just like all my information and was getting ready to try and get my MAT and start teaching. And literally, like, I think the next day, I got called up by the guys in Deus Vale, and they said, hey, they knew me as a guitar player and singer, and they didn't know that I played bass, and someone else had told them on my behalf. So that was nice of them. And I ended up driving down and auditioning to play bass with them, because their bass player had to quit to go back to school. And so anyway, yeah, I ended up, it was a perfect fit. I joined the band, and I did that for, I moved to Russellville, which is an even smaller town in Arkansas. And then we moved to Nashville, or a couple of us moved to Nashville. That's where our record label was. Okay. And throughout touring, I mean, I've been to pretty much every city in the U.S.
What's your favorite though, except home?
Seattle. I loved Seattle. I mean, there's like Asheville, North Carolina is amazing. I always felt home in Pennsylvania too.
Mhm.
There's a lot of really great spots for different reasons.
Because it's so German and
But
Austrian, huh?
right, yeah, exactly. But as it was my first time out west, and we were coming up the California coast, and I mean, we spent I think 5 days in California doing different shows.
Hmm.
And the closer we got to the northern part, I was like, this is amazing. And we got to Portland, and the guys were like, we need to move here. And I was like, yeah, we do. And then we played Seattle, and we were like, we need to move here. And I was like, yeah. And I'm the only one that meant it.
Okay.
So everyone went back to our respective homes, and then I looked into moving to Seattle, and I did.
Did the band
We
quit by then, or how was it? Because like how did you guys like practice like being all apart?
Yeah. Yeah, so we didn't. So at that point, we still had a couple of us that were living in Arkansas, a
Mhm.
couple of us living in Nashville. So it wasn't too much of a change to have me living in Seattle. I
Okay.
just would fly in when having a tour.
Okay.
And if we were writing, I'd come home and we'd spend a few weeks in the studio or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ended up moving out there and was couch surfing with my buddy Jesse Pennico, who actually did artwork for one of our albums.
Huh,
And he
not
was
you, huh?
not me. I did do artwork for one of them, but for our second album, so actually a guy in Honduras,
Yeah.
Mario, did the paintings on it, and they were amazing. And then Jesse did the layout design. He was a designer at Relevant Magazine at the
Mhm.
time, well before to Seattle, and then he was working at HTC Phones. Now he's at Amazon, and he's awesome guy. Still stay in touch with him. And he was one of the original guys that I was in Seattle, and I was trying to figure out what am I supposed to do. The band is going great, it's still doing well, but I knew it wasn't going to be forever, and I knew I wanted to do design. I knew at that point I was
Okay.
doing enough like posters and t-shirts and album artwork things that I was like, this is what I want to do. Do I need to go to school for it? Because he did. And he was like, dude, no, like look at what you've done. Like you're on the right track. You don't need to go to school for this. You just need to
Okay.
keep practicing. And which is really, that was awesome, because I always have imposter syndrome. I think a lot of people deal with that, but I was like, well, I'm not really a designer because I didn't go to school for it. I don't know what I'm doing. But after talking to enough people that did go to school for it, I kind of figured out like a lot of it was learning basics, and
Hmm.
then they give you fake assignments like, oh,
Yeah.
here's a restaurant and you need to make the menu and all the stuff. And so I just did that. I was in his apartment, and
Hmm.
he'd go to work, and I would sit there and start working on fake restaurants or fake companies or
Yeah.
beer bottles and this kind of stuff, and just give myself a lot of assignments to do and doing them.
Okay. And
And eventually,
yeah, when did this happen then?
uh, so uh, I was. It's really convoluted. So while I was touring,
Hmm.
there were a few months of the year or that we'd be off, and a lot of them it was by happenstance the first time. But then so I ended up working at a nuclear plant.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so there's a nuclear plant in Russellville, Arkansas, and I was playing disc golf, which is how everyone starts working in a nuclear plant.
Yeah.
Um, I was playing disc golf one day, and this was that worked at the plant. I kind of gave him some pointers, and we ended up playing the round together. And he's like, "Hey, you're a sharp guy. Would you be interested in working at the nuclear plant if it ever worked with your touring schedule?" And I was like, "Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, why not?" So I went and did the training and all that kind of stuff. And it turned out they had like a 3 week outage, which is where they're changing
Okay.
out the uranium rods and that kind of stuff. Um, and we were on tour. I was like, well, yeah, let's do it. And so I signed up, and also our guitar player did it too, who actually had a nuclear engineering degree. Um,
Jeez.
so, so
Small world.
right, so the two of us were working at the plant, and making way more money than we had ever made in our lives. Um, and that was that was really cool, because we could just I'm still used to making band member money, and so I just socked all of it away. and which is what kind of allowed me to go to Seattle and live there whilst
Hmm.
not having a real job. Um,
Was that
so
Seattle or sorry?
so that is Arkansas. So one of my trips back, um, I was working at the nuclear plant, and it's like a 7 day a week, you know, 12-hour a day shift kind of thing.
Mm.
I guess it's 6 a day or 6 days a week normally, and then towards the end of it can be seven. But
Yeah.
this was during the 12 shift kind of thing, and I was scrolling through my Facebook one night after, or I guess one morning after getting off night shift, and I guess someone that had started following, like they add me as a friend while after a show in Little Rock one time.
Okay.
Her picture came up in my feed, but her friend was staying next to her, which is this lady, and she's had the
Yeah.
best smile I'd ever seen. I was like, hey, why not? And so I just shot her a message and said, hey, this is probably weird, but
Who's
you've
your friend?
a really joyful smile. I just want to tell you, for whatever it's worth. And we've talked every day since, and we ended up
Aw.
getting married 2 years later. And that, dating her brought me back to Arkansas, which was well worth it. Well worth leaving Seattle for Sierra. She's amazing, and she's an amazing artist too. She's a fine art.
Was that was it coincidentally that she's also an artist, or did
I
you
mean,
meet before? Not
I
really,
didn't know,
probably.
before we just kind of said, hey, and we were talking to each other and exchanging messages and realized that, hey, this is kind of fun. So I said, hey, I've got one night off, tonight. Would you, and this was, we'd been talking for a few days. It wasn't like, hello, you have a nice smile, let's go out tonight. It was,
Mm.
I think a week or so had gone by and we're like, hey, we're enjoying talking to each other. Let's do this. And so we ended up getting drinks, at a place that's now closed down. But yeah, it was we just hit it off well, and realized we had a lot of the same interests and passions and stuff, and we're also really different. She's super introverted. I'm more extroverted, though I've become more introverted after being married to her for 6 years now, 7 years.
But she probably became a little more extroverted as well, right?
Yeah,
Like
we both, yeah, we both had a nice effect on each other.
that's good. Awesome, man. I'm
But yeah,
really happy for you on that front.
yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, so we got married in 2015, um, and since then it's been super cool. We've had 2 kids, and that's informed a lot of how I do things too. But yeah, um, we had thought about moving, um, to a different spot,
Mm.
whether it be back to Seattle or to Austin or something like that. But then the pandemic happened, and that made the world a lot smaller. A lot
Mm.
of the opportunities that we, a lot of why we would have moved would be for bigger opportunities, but a lot of those have kind of happened naturally, since people are used to jumping on Zoom. I'm
Yeah.
talking to you in Germany. That, that's a. I feel like the world is a lot smaller, and I've worked with a lot of people in Europe and in Australia, and I would
Because I
never.
mean, the pandemic made the podcast happen, so like the video podcast. So
Yeah, I mean it's obviously there's a lot of bad that happened, but there's a lot of silver lining if you look for it, and a lot of opportunities came out of it that allowed you to still be who you are, still be with your family, but then kind of pursue these things where normally it would have never happened. So
exactly. Alrighty, let's talk some more art, I guess, which was also a very interesting view into your life. And yeah, my next question would be kind of like, what was the latest movie, TV show you really enjoyed?
I mean, the latest movie I went and saw Thor, obviously,
And how
because
was it?
I liked it. It was, I mean, obviously, it was really polarizing for a lot of people. Some people thought it was too fun.
Hmm.
I don't know. I thought it was great. I mean, I went expecting a fun kind of joyride, and it was, and I thought it still had a lot of heart to it too. So I don't know. Maybe that's an unpopular opinion, but I thought it was fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe I'm biased, but I enjoyed it. But latest TV show, we just finished one. What did we finish? It's escaping me. Oh well, we just finished going all the way through Shiro, which was
Okay.
actually, I mean, for a kids show, it is pretty great. But What We Do in the Shadows is one we like a lot.
Oh, did you start the new season?
We started the new season, and we did the thing like, we're like, oh, tonight's the night, and we tried to watch it last night. It was like available at 2 a.m. Like, nope. So we'll watch that.
Yeah, we
Um,
watched it. We watched it earlier, my girlfriend and I. So the third episode. So that was good.
that's awesome. Yeah, we love that show. We went back all the way through the Hannibal TV series again
Yeah,
recently.
that's great.
That's a great one. One of our favorite shows is I Think You Should Leave. Tim
Oh,
Robinson.
yeah.
Oh gosh, he's so funny. I mean, we've probably watched that. I don't know how many times. We've watched both seasons way too many times.
Yeah, I think it's done right now. He's not gonna do another one, right? Or is he?
Oh, I don't know. I hope he does.
I think I
I don't
read
know.
somewhere, but I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong.
I can see it being done, but
Yeah, fair
I
enough,
can't
fair
wait to see
enough.
what next.
Yeah. So another movie question here. What's your favorite movie? You have one or
Favorite movie would be Shawshank Redemption. That one just
classic?
the
Huh?
way. Yeah. I mean, it's the ultimate friendship and hope movie. I mean, it's
Oh, I'm
amazing.
sorry. Go watch RRR. Then you see the ultimate friendship
Oh,
movie.
yeah. But yeah, I love that. I mean, I like old rom-coms and
Mm.
stuff too. I love Back to the Future. Rudy was one I
Oh,
watched
yeah,
probably 100 times in college.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
great.
Did you play
Anytime I was filming,
football?
I did not. I don't know if you can't see my full frame, but I'm not the biggest guy. I'm pretty short, and I'm not too muscular.
What are we calling short
Didn't
here?
Yeah.
How short?
Oh,
How short is
short.
short?
I mean, I'm 5'9". I'm not that short.
Okay, yeah,
I
that's
was
okay.
super short at that time. I grew way like later. Yeah, around the time that you had to be like going towards that path, I
Yeah,
was
okay.
like 90 pounds and a weakling. So
Yeah.
that didn't help.
I was like, I don't know, when I was like 13, 12, 13, I was like, I think I was 6'2" at that time. And then, yeah,
That's not fair.
tall, always tall, always been tall.
That's funny. Yeah, nope. I was little bitty. I loved basketball too.
Yeah, I played basketball, yeah, for a long time.
That's awesome. Yeah, like mid '90s, I wanted to be in the NBA so bad. That was at that time. Then in 1994, the Arkansas Razorbacks won the national championship.
Mm-hmm.
95, we almost won it. Like there's some big basketball times. I loved the Orlando Magic and the Phoenix
Of
Suns and the
course.
Bulls.
Yeah.
The
90s,
Bulls were
yeah,
awesome to
man.
watch.
Those 90s.
And so yeah, I loved it. And then they went on strike, and it kind of disenfranchised the whole thing for me.
Okay, fair
But
enough. I get it. But
and also I was super,
yeah.
so I was never gonna be able to do anything.
Fair enough, fair enough. I want to come back to Shawshank because you did also a Shawshank poster, but would you love to tackle like a big boy 24 by 36 in terms of not just shoes?
Yeah, I would. That would be fun. It would be. I'd have to really think about what I would do because I wouldn't want to do. I'd want to capture friendship,
Mm-hmm.
but not through Red and Andy. It'd have to be some other means.
Okay, okay.
I don't refuse to draw people. I just don't prefer it.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. Okay, then let's talk about some other posters that are not by you. Because I want to know what have been your favorite posters that that you have not maybe acquired yet or that came out lately.
Oh man, lately there have been some super good ones. Matt Ferguson's Thor poster is
Yep.
killer, so good. And
10 only
hit
worldwide. Yeah.
but it's fine. I'll allow it. But that it's so good. The colors are great. He always knocks it out of the park. Other ones lately that have been really good. I think I sent you some because my
yeah. Should I just call it off here? You put the Ken Taylor Mastodon on? Is that?
Yeah. That one's great. I actually just got that in the mail the other day and was so stoked.
Awesome.
I love Ken Taylor's work. It's amazing. I'll probably always be a fan of what he does.
Hmm. And then
Just
you
the
put also in the Marie Bergeron June piece.
Yeah, Marie Bergeron's like her stuff's always so cool. I
Yeah,
love her style is
James,
great.
James and I said the other day that we're happy that she's kind of back because she had like a kind of long break, but now she's back with some pretty cool artwork.
Yeah, no, her stuff is I'm always pleasantly surprised when I see her stuff come out.
Indeed, indeed. And then you put also tons of posters in that are in your collection. How big is your collection?
Uh, pretty big. I was collecting before I started doing it. The first one I got ever was this. I couldn't find it to share it with you, but it was a poster for the tour we were on with a band called Copeland.
Uh-huh.
We were playing a show in Nashville, and this person like brought in this really cool screen print poster, and it was like a
Mm-hmm.
narwhal coming out of the water, and it had our band's name on it too. And I was like, "Oh, that's so cool!" And so we kept
Uh-huh.
it. Uh, and I think that was the first time it hit me like that people do just art prints for a concert. I was like, "Well, that's cool. Maybe I could look into that." And so
Mm-hmm.
that was really inspiring. But the first big one that I bought that I was like, this, it was like $70 on
Mm-hmm.
eBay. It was Kevin Tong's Appleseed cast poster.
Is it this
And
one?
it's
Yeah,
still hanging.
there it is.
Yeah, yeah, that one's still hanging up in my hallway. It's so good, and that kind of got me on a kick of collecting pretty much everything Kevin Tong put out for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of changed style, which is I still like it, but his older stuff is my favorite.
You got the robots, the C3PO and R2.
I don't have that. I do have
Oh,
his. I wish I did. No, I have
I have only
his.
C3PO, but I don't have R2.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've got his Optimus Prime hanging in my son's room.
Okay.
Um,
Do you
my
have
son's got
his Ron piece?
some
Because
great.
I'm looking for his Ron piece.
No, I freaking love
Oh
that one though.
man.
That's one that like, yeah, it's on my list of one to find. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
Sorry. Getting back to you.
Kevin is Kevin didn't know it because he doesn't know me. But he's the one that got me back into drawing by hand again. Because I hadn't done that for a long time.
Mhm.
I mean, long time
Have you seen our
since I
interview,
was
by
a
the way?
kid. No,
I did
I
one.
need
I did
to.
one with Kevin last year.
Well, I need to watch.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, I'll definitely watch that. Yeah, he yeah, that like this one just hanging on my wall and looking at it just really inspired me to start drawing again because I for a while I was doing everything very like graphically. It was taking shapes and
Mm-hmm.
shading them and this kind of thing. A lot of like kind of um, very much more graphic driven, and I would call myself a graphic designer slash maybe illustrator.
Mm.
And now I'm finally getting where I'm like, okay, I can call myself an illustrator slash designer,
Okay.
but I'm still like, I don't know, maybe I can. I don't know.
Hey, call yourself a painter. I don't know. I don't care. You do great artwork, so who cares about a title?
But yeah, so Kevin kind of got me more into doing more illustrative type stuff,
Mm.
and collect a lot of his pieces throughout the years. But like Kevin Tong, like Ken Taylor, I've got several of his.
But you
Always love
you don't
his.
have the Bounty Hunter collection, right?
No,
Okay,
I wish.
Okay, yeah, I wish too.
But yeah, those are some of Ken Taylor's that I have. A lot of Jay Ryan stuff with the Bird Machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in our living room downstairs. Iron Giant piece I got recently is so good. Jay Ryan is awesome, and he is one that inspired me twice,
Okay.
and was really exciting. So when I was in high school, I think it was high school or college, whatever. I was at our local music venue, and this band came and was going to do a free show at like in the middle of the day because they were on their way to a different spot, and it just happened that we were on their route. And I came and watched them, and it was called Dianoga, and it was like this awesome, like 2 bass players and a drummer, like doing like jazzy kind of indie rock stuff. And I was like, this is incredible. And, I became a bass player. And that's not why I became a bass player. I just did out of necessity. But most nights during sound check, I would play this bass line that was like the chorus for this song called They Have Monkeys Like We Have Squirrels or something like that. Anyway, but yeah, I freaking love Dianoga. And then I started buying Jay Ryan's prints because I thought they were incredible and inspiring. And then I probably was a fan of his for 2 years before he did a post, and it was like band practice time. And it was like, there he was playing the bass. And I was like, holy crap, is that Dianoga? And it was. So one of my favorite bass players in my favorite bands ended up being one of my favorite illustrators, making my favorite screen prints. So yeah, pretty bizarre that he inspired me twice in 2 different realms.
Awesome.
But yeah, Invisible Creature has always been awesome. I've got several of their pieces, and they're great. Flory, a lot of, Flory's stuff is all, he's so good, man.
Yeah.
His stuff's great.
He's also a great guy. I can tell you that.
Awesome. That's always, when they can be both is always fantastic.
Exactly. So you have quite a big collection. What would you say in total? How much you got?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Probably 80 or so, 100. I don't know.
Fair enough.
Raid 71. Holy crap! I've been like
Chris.
Any of his things
good old Chris.
I get. Yeah. His stuff's great. Chris, he seems like a fun guy too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one's in our bedroom. Yeah, and then let's see who else.
That's a lot. We can talk about what is the last poster that you put up?
And the last one I put up was Laurent Durio's Soundwave piece.
That's great.
That one.
That's
that one's
great.
Actually sitting. It's so good. I got that one to kind of as a celebration to myself for getting to do a Transformers piece.
Awesome.
I was like, I can justify this. Yeah, that one's actually sitting next to.
It's a tax write-off.
Right. Yeah, that one's sitting next to Chris's Into the Spider-Verse piece in our bedroom.
Awesome. Alrighty, and let's talk about more about your house and your workspace here. You put in the pic. It's titled "My Crew."
Yep,
it's the family.
Yeah, so they kind of inform my workspace. We set up a desk, and I had a desktop set up, and was looking into getting a Cintiq and all that kind of thing, and I just realized that it wouldn't be very conducive to how we live. We do a lot of stuff together. And I do Housebear. I have a day job, so Housebear exists from like 9:30 p.m. until midnight or 1. Or during my lunch breaks.
That's how. Are you doing a design job, or what is your day job?
Yeah, I'm the creative director at a magazine.
Oh, okay, that's cool. You want to plug which one, or?
Yeah, it's called Celebrate Arkansas. It's a statewide publication.
Okay, cool.
It's neat. We do a lot of stuff with like supplier community because we're the home of Walmart where I'm at, and a lot of the suppliers have a presence here. So it's been cool because I've been able to do design work for Unilever and Universal and Hermels and all that kind of stuff. So it's good. Like a lot of it's like layout stuff that I do, but I still do a lot of graphic design stuff during the day that keeps my chops sharp. And then when I come home, I start illustrating.
Awesome. So this is part of your work space. We're gonna go like the way you put them in your folder here. So let's talk through what do we see here.
So that's pretty much my primary workspace. That's
it looks like a nook.
Yeah, it's very like a hygge like type nook.
Okay.
That's my spot. Like usually so we have like a J-shaped couch, and that's like the end of the J.
Okay.
And then it goes across, and usually if I start drawing before the kids go to bed, then they're usually sitting next to me. Fox will be informing me what I should be doing to the drawing.
What was the best suggestion you got so far?
I mean, he didn't really have like a crazy one on how to do something, but like when I was doing the Mega Man 2 piece, he was like, "Ooh, do Airman now." I'm like, "Okay," and so
Mhm.
I illustrated them in the order that he wanted me to work on them,
Awesome.
which was super fun. But yeah, and then a lot of times I'll be hanging out with Sierra, and then she'll fall asleep on the couch, and then that's usually when I work, and I'll just work till probably too late each night.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, that's my primary spot is just with my iPad Pro and doing that.
Yeah, what looks more like a workspace is this part where we see the flat file and all of that. Um,
Yep,
this is in a garage, I take it, or something like that.
yep. That's right outside the when you step out the our back door. Got that all set up and had a lot of fun getting that organized. I actually found that the flat file that was on the right the other day
Hmm.
um,
This one?
for like super. Yeah, I found it for really cheap and built that base underneath it so I could store the tubes,
Oh,
kind
cool.
of tidy up the space a bit more. So it
Sounds
was a little bit
awesome.
more hodgepodge before.
Yeah, a little closer look at things that you put in the pigeonholes.
Yeah, yeah, that's one of the little characters that Invisible Creature made
Mhm.
for their Sasquatch posters.
Oh, okay, cool. And then we have a closer look at the flat file here. What we need to get and what we still need here.
Right.
Exactly. And Seattle's still up there. I see that.
It's still there. It's still got its place.
All right, perfect. Alrighty, then let's come from your workspace to your upcoming work. What's up? What can we show?
Yeah, I think I think we can show the little things I sent you.
Should I go through the
Maybe just go.
numbers here?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, this is the
Um,
first one you put in. This little sketch here from this
yeah,
old
so
transformer here.
yeah, there's a little I don't know which one it is, but there's a little sketch or something that's coming up. Still in the approval process, so it might change. Who knows? But
Yeah, okay. We got a yellow one this here as well.
I mean, you guessed he was yellow in the last one with James, so I feel like that's fair enough to share.
Yeah, exactly. So something yellow. Who knows what's gonna happen?
No, you never know.
Maybe he's gonna turn out
Um,
red.
he could he could turn out jet black. Who knows? You
Exactly.
never know.
This next one here looks like Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's Spider Man.
It's his eye. His mask is melting from the heat.
The old melty eyes. That's what we call them. Yeah, that's one that'll be coming out somewhere later this month.
With
I was
whom?
really happy. I'm gonna keep it a secret.
Okay, okay.
I'm gonna keep it.
Because we know then.
Keep, I think so.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe
We
I don't
we,
know.
we know
Maybe
we all know who has the licenses.
right. Yeah.
Fair
So
enough,
yeah.
fair enough. And then we have some Ex Machina.
Yeah. So this is a piece they'll be coming out with Hero Complex pretty soon. It's actually a piece that was commissioned by the director of I Am Mother, which was super fun.
Ah, okay, okay. So, but it's not I Am Mother.
It's not I Am Mother. This is
It's
it's a
RoboCop.
throwback. It's RoboCop 2.
Yeah. It's the ED, what is it, 271 or whatever the number is?
Yes.
Who knows? Okay, next up, let's see what we got here. Oh, we got Clash of the Titans. Oh no, never mind. It's Immortal. Immortal.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Totally right, huh?
Yep.
Spot on.
Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda. I'll take that. Oh Lord. And then we got Iron Man.
Iron Man. That's Iron Man's butt.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It's butthole, I guess then.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, so that's a band poster I'm working on that I'm having a lot of fun with.
All right, all right. And we got some more here. This is what is it? Smoking Aces.
Smoking Aces. That's yes. There's another band poster that'll be out middle of next month.
Okay. Okay. Which band is it? Is this is it
Called
is it no, it's 50 Cent because you got to gamble
50
with the
Cent.
cards, It's a gambling or like a poker poster.
It's Kenny
It's
Rogers.
Poker Face by Lady Gaga. Okay.
My latest poster.
And last but not least, we got Hello Miss Kitty, the poster.
Hello. Yep. Yep. So that'll be that's another poster for the same band. And this is a fun one. This is my first time I've ever collaborated with another artist.
Okay.
Um,
Who is it?
yeah, and I had his name is Blake Stevenson.
Okay.
Jetpacks and Roller Skates is his company name handle. Dude, he's so good. He makes these really cool illustrations. We kind of both had like a back and forth for a while, liking each other's things. And I hit him up one day. I was like, what would you think about like you doing some line work on something and then me doing like details and colors and stuff? And he was like, I think that'd be really fun.
Awesome.
So we tried it. It was a blast. And
that's great, bud.
So I think we'll do more.
Alrighty. Then let's talk about your general approach when it comes to poster. How do you go about it?
That's a good question. Usually, I mean, I have to be familiar with the stuff. Like it has to be something that I like or want to do. And then it's a hard mix of like I don't want to do too deep of a dive because I don't want to be inspired by other pieces. But I also want to make sure I'm not making something that's exactly like what already exists.
Sometimes it happens, even though you're not copied by it, but it's like,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've had that where I've been like halfway through something. I'm like, oh crap, here's this. And it's a pretty similar take on it, which, I don't really have too much of a bother with that as long as it's feels different, like stylistically or something. Because everything's been made. Everyone's had an idea. Everything's been done. And so for me, my approach is like research, know the film, know the band, know whatever it is, be inspired by the music, depending on what kind of client it is. And then going from there and just trying to make something that is at least something that's contributing something new to the conversation. I'm a competitive person in a lot of ways, but not really when it comes to art. Like in art, I just want to make something that is like adding to the conversation. Like I don't care if I have the best poster for this film or for this tour or whatever it might be. I just want it to be one that people enjoy, and also enjoy, like I made my Thor poster and I'm happy with it, but also I like Matt Ferguson's better and differently. They're not meant to compete. They're meant to both have a different voice to the film, which I think is what's cool, and that's what makes pop culture prints so interesting to me. Like going to that from the music world, like it's a little more like if you work with a band, you don't really want to share the information that much because there's only so many shows, or if they're doing a tour poster, there's one tour poster and everyone's kind of vying for that spot. But like, Jaws has like 10,000 different alternative movie posters for it. And as long as they're different from one another, awesome. I mean, there's only so many ways to do a shark eating a lot of people, but people have found a way. I mean, there's a lot of really cool ones out there that are really creative. So yeah, I guess I just want to make sure, like, I obviously I look at iconography, so I look at what are the little things in the film that tell the story without doing the character montage and all that kind of stuff. How can I do that well, and how can I do it from at least a different angle or a different perspective than has been done, or at least that I've seen done often.
Yeah, totally understand. And what is so you've done that, and then you start the drawing phase. How much time do you spend on like drawing and finishing up?
It got on the piece. I always start with the sketch, like pencil type sketch. I mean, I do it on my iPad, but I still use the pencil. Maybe it just helps inform the process. But I'll sketch it out roughly, and then it kind of depends too. Like if I'm working with a gallery or if I'm just making it myself. Like the Nope one was a pretty quick process. I'd sketched out and I was like, yeah, that's the shape I want. And then I started inking it, and then I colored it, and I was like, nah, it's done. And it was a pretty quick go. But like, then there are some where I'll sketch it, send it off, wait.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
But yeah, it just kind of depends on how much noodling needs to happen to get it to the right spot. But usually the sketch is pretty, like I can do like a real crappy sketch to kind of make sure it's good, and then I'll do like a more refined sketch to make sure like, okay, this is how I want it, and then that's what I'm going to use to do my inking and there. So it really depends on the piece, but the most fun part for me, I really enjoy the sketch. And I really enjoy because the sketch is pretty quick, and I'm like, oh, cool, that looks neat. I like it. The part that I don't like is like, okay, now I've done the sketch. Now I've got to ink it and then I'll start putting in the flat colors. And, there's always like a way too long of a part of the process where it looks like a coloring book before I start doing details and textures and that kind of stuff. And that last 20% I love. So fun. That's where I'm gonna hit my like the highest highlights and the darkest shadows, and start putting like the little cracks in the armor and that kind of stuff. And that's where it'll go. That's always to me where it comes to life. And that's the part that's keeps me coming back every time.
Yeah. Okay. So, then what is something you want to work on in the future? Is there some property, music, sports, movies, TV shows, anything you really would love to work on?
I would really love to work on. I mean, there's still bands I really want to work for. I'd love to do something for Death Cab. I'd love to do something for Mogwai. There's those kind of things. Movies, I'd love to do like a real piece, like I got to do a piece for the Alien book, which is really exciting. The Aliens book, the second film. I'd love to do something for Alien. I think that'd be fun. I would love to do. I mean, Jurassic Park was one of my favorite movies when I was a kid, so I would be a blast to do a real one for that too. And then a lot of the Marvel stuff. That's exciting because I was big into comics when I was a kid. Basically anything that's nostalgic for me, I want to do. Like anytime I get to do any of those things, is exciting. Like G.I. Joe, I think it'd be fun to do, like Cobra Commander.
Sounds great. Alrighty. So maybe that's something for the future.
Yeah.
I heard these guys from Moore, they have a Hasbro license. So.
That's what I've heard.
Okay. So let's talk about one of my favorite questions, obviously. Which classical artist or fine artist would you like to see make a film poster, and which movie or franchise would it be?
Hiroshige is still one of my favorite artists. Hokusai also, but Hiroshige, like there's something about his colors and I mean, just always blows me away. And I remember I've gotten to see a few of his pieces in real life at some museums I went to, and was like, I mean, I'm drawn to him like a magnet. It's incredible. I think it'd be awesome to see. That's definitely my favorite artist from the period, but I was trying to think of what would be cool for them to do. And
you have seen the film on canvas Jaws piece, right?
Yeah, and that one's great. The Hokusai Great Wave Jaws piece is awesome. Yeah. Super cool. I think it'd be fun to see something that's like almost like diametrically different than like Blade Runner. Like what would you like? Of course, the challenge would be you take away a lot of the organic shapes, but I think it'd be fun to see something like that, or like Ghostbusters. I think it'd be cool to see like what he would do with
when I saw just the Hiroshige one, the one I just pulled up,
Mhm.
that reminded me a little bit of what's it called, the climbing movie where he climbs El Capitan.
Oh, Solo?
Solo, yeah, free solo, exactly.
Yeah,
This reminded me a
that'd
little
be
bit of
amazing.
it. Imagine this in a style, but just with US landscape.
Yep. Yeah, and there's just a little guy in there.
Hmm.
I think that'd be sweet. Yeah, I mean, any of the ones that would make sense would be great too.
Yeah,
But yeah, I always like to think of like what would be the strangest thing they'd make.
yeah. Strange things have to be happening, and if we're gonna have a Film on Canvas Volume 2, this is what you have to do, buddy.
Hey, I'm all for it. I would butcher it, but I would do my best.
Very good. Alrighty, then let's come to our basically last, or my actually last question. Do you have any tips for the beginners when it comes to hardware, software, utensils, social media, or any other thing that you want to give people on the way to get where you are?
Uh, yeah, I think the tools and hardware kind of really depends on what you're using. What your process is. Like there's people that swear by Cintiqs. I probably eventually will too. But yeah, I've found that the mobility is paramount for me. Like I like being able to just go to a coffee shop and draw, or draw on the couch, or wherever I'm at, I can draw.
Isn't it like the
And that's
studio? That's like the not the studio, the Surface Book.
yeah. There's one something like that too that I think would probably be good for folks. I drew on PC for a long time before I switched to Mac,
Mm.
and now I've kind of gotten accustomed to it, and it would be probably hard for me to switch back. Um, but yeah, I mean, as far as advice, I mean, I think there's so many ways to do this thing. There's so many hardware wise, software wise. Some people are using Procreate, some people are using Photoshop, some people are doing everything vector.
Mm.
There's a million ways to do it and come out with the results that you have. And I think the important part is the results. So whatever your process is to get there, I think is great. I think um, my advice would be, like, if you're getting into screen printing, would be like try to learn the actual printing process.
Mhm.
Like I know that was really helpful for me, so you can kind of reverse engineer it. So like the guys at Valhalla print. Anytime I have control over who's printing it, it's going to be Valhalla. I love their work. They're just good guys. Dustin and Dan
Yeah.
and the crew over there are so nice. I got to actually go up there one time while they were printing a couple of my pieces, and it was a blast. Like I was a kid in a candy shop. And I mean, and too, like they were printing like one of Ken Taylor's pieces at the same time. I'm like, this is nuts. Like my, it's like it's fun to see like your illustrative kind of heroes
Mhm.
being printed at the same. It's kind of like, oh wow, you do a lot of this, my stuff that I love all kind of originates here, and
I'll
that's
take that
that's really
one.
fun. Yeah, but yeah, it's I think familiarize yourself with the process so that what you're making is as close to good to go as you can. And also, if they're having fun printing your stuff, I mean, don't you want that? Don't you want them to not be like, oh, here
This
comes this
guy.
guy again? Uh, so I think open communication and asking what you can do better and differently is a important thing. And I think definitely just trying to I think just knowing who you are and knowing the grand scheme of things, we're all human beings trying to make things and working together. And so being enjoyable to work with, I think, is like the premium thing. Like there are so many people that are better at this than any given person.
Yeah.
Unless you're like the top person. But I mean, there's always gonna be someone better than you that's more um, that would have been a better fit for the project, that would have done it better. But you can work to make sure that there's not someone that would have been more enjoyable to work with for the human beings that are part of the process. And so I think that's one of the main things. Like there are a lot of people that are fantastic that,
Mm.
they're too big for their britches, and they end up kind of being not enjoyable to be around or not enjoyable to work with. And at the end of the day, we're all part of the same team making cool stuff together. And I think just kind of being kind to each other and treating each other well is the best thing any of us can do.
Exactly. So people, don't be a chump.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Then the last one's not a question, but it's your time to do some shout outs anyway to artists, friends, family, whoever you want to shout out, and let the people know before you do that where they can find you on the interwebs.
Okay. On the interwebs, you can find me at thehousebear.com and at Housebear, as it's politely put there on Instagram. I'm on the other social medias, but I suck at them. So I partly suck at Instagram too. So, just do your best and deal with it. But man, I'll definitely leave people out. But like first and foremost, my wife, I mean, she's an amazing artist too. And she has her first piece coming out with Gallery 1988
nice.
Pretty soon. Idiot Box Show. She made a really cool painting of for the Hannibal series, so of Will, and it's great. So her stuff is awesome. Check her out.
Do you have it at hand? Show it to the camera.
Oh yeah. So
is that the one? No,
that's not her. I don't have it in hand, but that's one of her print pieces. That's super cool. But and then she's Sierra Froning on Instagram. James Hobson, such a nice guy. He's made so many cool things happen for me that I'm grateful for. Chris Kohler and the rest of the crew at Billing Blog. Chris is a guy that I always bounce ideas off of. And he's just a good guy to be around. And he's one of the ones that during COVID, like we kind of would do little Skype chats and just hang out, and that was super fun. And then Martina Esposito, Benedict Woodhead, David Henry Lance, those guys at that crew.
I heard a couple of artists, by the way, they're doing like virtual offices. So they hang out on Skype and just do like work where they don't have to concentrate that much, but they can do it while talking.
I mean, it's really like, I was going to do that with Dave Clock, and we haven't gotten around to it either, but he's another amazing artist. But like Julian Rodriguez, he does amazing stuff. Uber Changeo, just super great work. And we've hung out a few times just over Skype or Zoom, and just had a blast. I mean, it's fun getting to know people around the world that are in different places in this kind of thing, or you can learn from or give ideas to. Blake, who I called out earlier, SG Posters, Eileen Steinbach, she's amazing. Ryan Shoemate has been super encouraging, super good guy. Araceli Munoz, also super encouraging. Colin Schlicht and Derek Payne, also super. A lot of guys have just been, there's so many guys that you kind of talk to in and out on social medias that are just kind of keep you going and encouraging. Lucas Tetrault, super encouraging guy. I mean, I feel like any time a piece comes out, he's always so supportive and good for just making you feel good about it. And the stuff he makes is amazing too. Yeah. Danny Haas, Danny Schlitz, or Danny Schlitz. Both those guys are
all the Germans.
All the basically all the Germans that do this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the ones that that I'm more like in. I mean, there's obviously like amazing people out there that are kind and nice, but those are some of the folks that
you hang with
have been really that I hang with and have been really encouraging along the path of kind of going from movie, from going from concert posters to getting to do movies and that kind of thing.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, Justin, for stopping by. It has been such a pleasure, and we will see definitely more of your great posters in the future, and especially at Drop Mag, because we love your artwork here. And thank you again, because Justin was so nice to give me a poster tube with a couple of pics of my choosing, and it was really fun. And I had them up, like for example, the Silence of the Lamb piece was up for quite a long time in the background. Now I changed it out, just a couple days ago. So sorry that it's not there since we're doing the interview, but it has been up there for quite some time.
I appreciate it, man. It's super good to get to hang out. We've been talking about this for a while.
Yeah, for sure, buddy.
It's good.
Alrighty, then I'm gonna melt because I'm actually literally feeling like melting any second here. And you guys enjoy, and keep sharing this episode because Justin is a really good guy and he deserves all the love that you can give. And we'll see each other next week when we're gonna talk about the latest SDCC episode with James and the art that came out over the weekend. So yeah, stay tuned for that, guys, and bye bye.